Talking cricket on ESPN Cricinfo yet again. And once again, I am delighted that we have a guest who we love to talk non-stop. This is where we have to just talk something sensible though. Because when Varun Aaron and me don't have the cameras rolling, it could go in any direction.
Any direction. It could be
all hell can break loose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is where I'm going to, firstly Varun, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And this is where we try to, instead of talking all the nonsense that we do, and sometimes a lot of sense in between that,
correct,
we try and just get into talking cricket,
absolutely,
storytelling about the Varun Aaron journey, story, and what makes Varun Aaron click even now. How does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds very cool.
But before I get into the standard first set of questions that I tend to ask about how a cricketer who went on to play for India, played IPL cricket, became such a recognizable name with something we love to obsess over, which is fast bowling. You know, we'll cover all that. But there's a pad and a pen in front of you. So I'm just going to incentivize those of our viewers watching this on video that Varun likes to doodle.
I just make
cubes. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that now. That's the only reason there's a blank pad and a pen.
Absolutely.
So we are going to give ourselves these 45 minutes. Don't forget to just randomly doodle. And at the end of the show, I'm going to see what both of us have come up with.
Sounds good.
What you've come up with. I want to start with something else also after that random intro. When we talk about Indian players and what attracts us to superstars that Indian cricket tends to give us, by and large, they're batters, right? What I've noticed about just Indian cricket fans is if there's something that excites them beyond batting, it's fast bowling.
Absolutely.
And not medium pace bowling with due respect, but fast bowling. There is an awe and there's that pace is pace yaar sort of thing that when we see a fast bowler, it doesn't necessarily need to be someone who's played 100 tests or 110 World Cups. Those batters become legends.
Absolutely.
Fast bowlers, when they bowl fast, they stay in our heart. Absolutely. Do you feel that as one of those on the sort of recipients of that brand when you sort of walk around and when you interact with people?
Absolutely. I think fast bowlers have more of a cult following. It's like I mean, I would equate it to somebody like Quentin Tarantino. It's very different. It's a very different audience altogether. But men and women who like fast bowling, they just love it. They love it just for the pure art and just for what a fast bowler can bring in the context of a game. Absolute destruction.
It's the sexy thing about cricket, isn't it? Fast bowling. Did you feel that?
I mean, it's anything fast is sexy. So yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Was that the appeal initially when you were first taking to cricket? Because I did read somewhere that, like a lot of kids, you first wanted to bat.
Absolutely. But I was always obsessed with speed because I wanted to always be a fighter pilot. That was my only goal. My first image, the first image I drew was a fighter plane. The first comic I read was a Commando comic. So I was obsessed with being a fighter pilot.
How did that happen? Just offhand? Like how old were you? You're talking
I was
about literally
4. Because there was one of our family friends who used to babysit me, and he was a big Commando comic fan. And every time he would be given the responsibility to babysit me, he would just hand me a Commando comic. So I would be reading it upside down, not knowing what's in it, but I just loved those fighter jets, those Spitfires, those Mustangs that just captivated my mind. And then eventually I just wanted to be a fighter pilot. So it was always speed in my head. My dad and me would, every Sunday would watch Calypso Classics, and he would just, he loves fast bowling. And he would just talk about Andy Roberts and Michael Holding and Joel Garner. And I would see them bowling and hitting guys on the head, shattering stumps. So I grew up with that subconscious data being fed into my brain. And then finally I chose the easy route, which is batting, obviously. And then one term exam, the deal with my mom and me was that if I don't come in the first 10 in class, I will not be allowed to go for cricket practice. This was when I was 12.
Right.
So obviously I came some 15th or 16th once, and mom was like, you cannot go for cricket practice for a whole term. So I ended up going after 3 months. The coach was very, very angry. He said, you're not going to bat, you're only going to bowl. And I was obviously angry.
So it was almost a punishment.
If it is a punishment. and I ended up bowling, and I was very angry that the coach wasn't going to give me batting, and I started bowling really fast. and this is after, like, I might have gone through a growth spurt. There could have been multiple factors. And then all the guys in the camp were like, why are you giving our state under 14 trials as a batsman? Why don't you just give it as a fast bowler? And the rest is history.
So your first proper kind of, I know it's still age cricket and as a kid, but your first real burst of bowling fast was not organized. It just happened.
That's my life. It's never organized. Things just happen. I have no clue how things happen, but they just happen.
How old were you when this happened? When this sort of punishment posting came?
I was 12.
You were 12
and a half, yeah.
So before that, every time you had to go for cricket practice, by and large, you batted and...
I mostly batted because I was my dad's stress buster after work. He would bowl to me and he would hit my head. He would hit me on the ribs, on my legs, and I would just bat. And I really enjoyed batting. And I actually was quite
with a cricket ball?
With a tennis ball. My dad wasn't torturing me, okay, with a tennis ball. So I actually enjoyed batting against fast bowlers.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I ended up being a fast bowler at the end of it.
So I'm just trying to get here. If I had to sort of write this story without knowing you, that okay, you had a role model like an Andy Roberts, or your father spoke to you about Holding Roberts and the great West Indian fast bowlers. You would have seen a little bit of how they ran in and how batters tend to, kids tend to look at batters and think, let me try and bat like Tendulkar, let me try and bat like Gavaskar, whatever it may be. You would have said, okay, this is how Holding runs, this is how Roberts runs, so I will go from far away and try and run fast. And as kids tend to, we start from really far, we run fast, and we perhaps run faster than we actually bowl. But here, this was none of that. At 12, you were just suddenly told, you've not shown up for training for 3 months, you're going to bowl, you're not going to get to bat.
Absolutely.
And you just don't decide to go from 3 steps and roll your arm over.
I just took a random run up and I just wanted to break every batsman's head in the nets that day, and it was out of sheer anger that I ended up bowling that fast. And then I gave my first state trial as a fast bowler and got selected the next year. That year, I was selected for the state team. I think I would have had my first stress fracture then itself, because my back was really bad. I couldn't play the games. And then next year onwards, once I healed, I started playing for my state.
So were you actually quicker or just outright faster than all the other boys in that group? Or is that something that tends to obviously develop over time? Sometimes I think the Varun Aaron who bowled like 150 plus would have been faster, therefore, than anybody at any age group. But that's not necessarily the case with fast bowling.
No, it was my case. I was fast right from the word go, because once I had gone to Loughborough University when I was 16 to do a full biomechanical assessment on my action, and they also measured my speed there. And they measured my speed indoors, and I wasn't wearing spikes, so I wasn't off my full run. I was off maybe my 3/4 run, and I wasn't wearing spikes. So they're big factors in speeds, wearing a spikes and obviously a full run. And I measured 137 when I was 16. So immediately, like my coach who took me there, and everybody back in India were like, okay, he can bowl 137, But that's how I was always quicker than the rest.
How did that make you feel when sort of coaches started saying, you can bowl fast, boy?
So the thing was, from the age of 14, I worked very closely with Dennis Lillee. And he is the ultimate disciplinarian, I would say. And I was blessed to have bought into his philosophies as a 14-year-old. Because if you're 14 and you meet Dennis Lillee and you actually imbibe what he teaches as a fast bowling coach, not just technique-wise, but also mental-wise, I think that holds you in good stead for life.
Would you sort of pick the most memorable point of that philosophy that sort of stays with you or that appealed to you very early that you remember to this day?
The first thing he said in one of those group talks was that fast bowling is a lifestyle. And I truly believe fast bowling is a lifestyle. You've got to eat, breathe, sleep, drink fast bowling. There are no days off. I actually took my first holiday in 2022. So basically after playing 17 years of cricket, that was my first holiday. I'd never taken a holiday. Yeah, I had gone for 2-3 day getaways, but like I'm talking about like a 10-12, like a 10-2-week, 10
Where
day,
you tend to let go, right?
Yeah. Because I was always obsessing over my body being in pristine shape, being able to bowl as fast as possible. And it was just something which I felt I had a gift to bowl fast. And I just wanted to make sure that I fulfilled that gift.
So when you talk about making it your lifestyle at a very young age, you were happy for what I'm sure was not necessarily an easy lifestyle to choose for a teenager. Didn't know at that time that this is going to lead to state selection, India selection, get to play at the highest level. But at that point itself, sort of the discipline and the choice to live that fairly hard life, I think, which is brutal on your body, just came easily.
Yeah, it did come easily because it was about the higher purpose. It was about the mission, and which was to obviously play for India. I wasn't really focusing on playing for India until there was there was a season of under-19 cricket. I think in my last year of school, which was where I really believed that I will play for India and there's nothing going to stop me. And in the next 2 years, I played for the country. So there are like these crazy events which happen in a cricketer's journey, which make them really believe in what their purpose is.
Okay, well, I'm going to circle a little bit in those formative years. But since your mom was quite a disciplinarian on academics, otherwise no cricket, but then cricket started picking up. So how did that sort of affect the mom's mood or support? Did sort of academics take a backseat there, or how did that work?
So my mom's family is a very athletic family. My granddad, my mom's dad played hockey for Bihar. Mom represented Bihar and Karnataka in basketball. So they understood sport. So the moment I started doing well in age cricket, and I was always like the highest wicket taker in age cricket, in my state, in the zone, in India on a couple of occasions. So they really believed that, okay, this guy can actually do something decent. Because previous to meeting Dennis Lillee, I was just a lazy guy. My dad would kick me out at 5 o'clock in the morning and be like, go for a run. You can't be sleeping. Do something physical. And I would cycle around everywhere in Jamshedpur. I would go to school cycling, then I would go for tuition cycling, and then for cricket practice. So they would just make me be really physical, which I'm really grateful for, because all that cycling gave me a lot of strength in my legs, cycling with my kit and with my school bag and all of that. So I think it's a formative years which actually contributes to a cricketer's physique and physical capabilities and mental capabilities.
And when your dad was obviously a big Andy Roberts fan and a big sort of fast bowling fan. Those guys they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And when the images of how they terrorized batters in a pre-helmet era, there's no shortage of incidents of batters being hurt or careers almost cut short. It didn't scare you as a kid? It excited you, you're saying?
Yeah, it did excite me. I always loved a sense of danger. I feel life is incomplete without a sense of danger. Like there has to be an adrenaline rush at some point in my life or some point in my day. There has to be that. It just gives me a kick.
I'm going to segue. What all have you done now, which is, of course, highly adventurous and dangerous? Let's go skydiving, bungee jumping.
Yeah, I have. Let's
go through the list.
Skydiving. I'm thinking of actually starting free diving now, because as a fast bowler, it's such a thrill to send the ball down at a high speed and see it thud into the keeper's gloves, or break a few stumps or a bail. But when suddenly that's removed from your life, you just want another outlet, which is constructive, not destructive. So yeah, I'm just looking at different avenues to just make sure that side of me is satiated.
And of course, it's not like you've retired years ago. But I just want to point out, in case you're listening to us and not watching us, folks, that Varun Aaron remains in tip-top shape till this day. Like literally, I think that what you said a little while back about Lillee saying fast bowling's a lifestyle, it almost seems like it's not like since you finished your, by and large, your professional playing days, you still play a fair bit of former players' cricket but you haven't sort of let go. It's not that you almost see yourself as you'll grow literally till your last day. You will continue to be living the lifestyle of a fast bowler.
Yeah, because I just enjoy running. I feel running gives me a lot of peace. It just puts me in a zone which I like to be, and it obviously keeps me fit. And the day I can't run 5 kilometers at a certain pace, I mean, I would just be really upset with myself, because that's my measure of physical fitness. You gotta be able to run a minimum of 5K, worst case scenario, under 25 minutes. Worst case. I'm talking about when I'm 35 and not playing. But when I was in my peak fitness, I was running it at about 18 or 19 minutes.
I'm sure I run it, but but I don't want to bust that myth by trying. My producer informs me that when you actually came down for a little bit of IPL work here in Bombay in the studios. You connected with Sanjay Bangar and asked him to actually book a net for you because you found bowling as like a great way to work out as well. Like this is still towards the end of your career effectively.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I had given up playing cricket because again, just, I mean, now when I play former players cricket, I'm just bowling for fun. It's not bowling to prove a point or bowling to get 5 wickets. It's just bowling for the pure joy of bowling, which I actually enjoy now.
But bowling gives you a lot of pain also.
Oh my God, a lot of pain.
So I'm just trying to think, like I know that there are other, I know through my good friendship with Ajit Agarkar, Anil Kumble even, that they do not want to roll their arm over ever again if life would have it. For whatever reason, it could be mental, it could be physical, but they're just happy that they never have to roll their arm over. You've had major injuries. How do you still find the joy to bowl after everything your body's been through?
I don't know. It's a funny one. I mean, I definitely don't want to bowl flat out. I just want to bowl within myself because bowling flat out obviously gave me so many injuries. But I think bowling is more from a physical fitness angle, and so that I can mentally compare myself to where I'm at now to where I was at maybe 1 year ago when I was still playing the game.
I'm sorry if this becomes a little geeky, but when you say that it's a good way to assess your own fitness and it's a good workout you choose, we've often had these conversations amongst sort of our colleagues and friends at Cricinfo who really get into the details of bowling, and it's sort of one of the things we all agree on is that it's perhaps one of the most unnatural things that a body is asked to do in sport. In no other sport are you asking your body to almost challenge itself in terms of where pressure is on muscles versus where the weight is versus what you then need to generate with your back and arm. It's just such an unnatural thing. How would you sort of describe it in terms of how natural it is in comparison to anything else in sport, not just in cricket, whether it's a forehand, whether it's something a footballer would do, but just bowling seems to be so unnatural.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll put it very simply. Your spine is designed to either flex or extend or laterally flex in one movement.
That's you putting it simply. Yeah.
So you either bend forward, you bend back, or you bend to your side. But in fast bowling, all three happen in one single action.
Sure.
So you extend, you laterally flex, and you bend forward in one movement. With bowling with a straight arm, you're not chucking it. As humans, we are meant to chuck things. We are meant to chuck stones and break fruits and stuff like that.
I mean, that way baseball still has something natural. You're asked to do. You're asked to generate force from one end and sort of put all that momentum and velocity.
But nowhere in the Stone Age were guys running around trying to hit a mango straight like this. Okay, they've obviously. So it is very, very unnatural.
Okay, let's sort of go forward to when the game started becoming a serious thing. You said you already had the exposure of DK Lillee at the Pace Foundation when you were about 14.
14, yeah.
And around that time was stuff happening already with Jharkhand, with state cricket. Like at what point did it start getting serious?
So first of all, to get in and to get coached by Dennis Lillee at 14 was quite a big deal in Jharkhand itself, because generally people who would get selected for that program would be of the age of 19 or 20.
Wow. So you were one of the youngest.
Yeah, because when I went for trials, there was guys like Manpreet Dhoni who were like towering above me, and I was looking at them like this because I was just a 14-year-old, right? And Manpreet Dhoni is like 6'3". I was like, why am I even here? I'm not going to make this, because they were just much older, physically so much bigger than me when I was a kid. But then I think Dennis Lillee saw something in me, T.A. Shekhar saw something in me, and they picked me for that fast bowling program. And I think that was, I would say more than anything, it mentally conditioned me to take the rigors of fast bowling.
Yeah. Would you attribute Lillee and Shekhar as your kind of first big influences, or those who kind of coached you or scouted you, or would you give that credit to someone even before that, when the step was made from your school to the foundation?
So the BCCI had a talent research development team. So there were ex-players who would go around under 15 games and actually spot for talent.
Okay.
So there was a elderly gentleman called Mr. Gigi Boy. I still remember his name, funnily. And he had watched me bowl against Bengal. And then this is under 15 game. And then I think he liked what he saw. Then he came to watch me again to when we were playing against Tripura. And he's the person who put my name forward for the trials. And then I got selected.
Did you already have a reputation at the age group as well of watch out for this guy, he's really fast? Or batters were a little worried that you hit them?
I'll be really honest with you. I didn't have a clue of what was going on around me. All I wanted to do was eat good food, bowl fast, train, and go to sleep. That's all. I mean, even now, that's pretty much what my life is about. It's very simple thing. So I was never really consumed with anything which was going on around me. I was quite naive. I actually started to be a little aware when I was 25, 26 as to
your surroundings,
my surroundings. But till then, I was just consumed with my own life and what I liked.
So you were almost a bit aloof as a personality. It's not like you were actively participating in team meetings and discussions or thinking too much about wickets and oppositions and batters. You were just wanting to go and bowl fast.
Absolutely. That's what I want. That's what I loved about the game, and that's where my heart still is. Like even when I was just looking back at my journey and thinking one day, and I realized that yes, I like cricket, but what I actually love is just bowling fast.
I'm now again sort of jumping to where you are now and how I've had the good fortune of working with you for the last few years. But you obviously have struck me, and I'm sure to a lot of viewers, as a breath of fresh air in broadcast, someone who's confident, articulate, and can even really get technical about both the physical side. And you also, I know from watching you firsthand that you come well prepared for your commentary stints or your studio work with stats, etc. So all of this seems at odds with somebody who was aloof, just didn't want to focus on anything and just wanted to bowl. So how do you sort of marry that kid with the Varun that you are right
I think it's more about dedication to your craft. Even then, it was all about fast bowling. So I would do everything around fast bowling. And now, obviously, I'm a broadcaster and also a coach. So when I'm broadcasting, everything is about broadcasting, because I think if you're doing a job, you should do it the best of your ability or don't do it at all. And I would never dabble with something I don't enjoy or my heart's not in it. So if I'm doing something, I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Sure. I'm going to come to your most recent endeavors of coaching, which we're going to look forward to in some time. But I want to come back to when things started getting serious and you had your first class debut for Jharkhand. I think you were 19 when you did. And speed was continuing to be a big part of your profile. Then you clocked, I believe, 153 Ks per hour in that season in 10-11. I think a couple of seasons later, in the final against Gujarat. So as those sorts of reputations were going on, and I think you were also part of the and I think at the back of that came the national call-up or the selection.
So after that, Jharkhand won the first and only trophy we've ever won in the 2011 Vijay Hazare trophy. The final, obviously against Gujarat, we still remember it, all of us very fondly. And after that, I played the Duleep Trophy game. I got 5 against West Zone. And then after that, they picked me for India in Australia A. I got about a 7 for in a game, a 4 and 3, and then they picked me for the England tour, which I didn't play the one day series. But then when I came back home, that's when I debuted.
So obviously this was at a time where Jharkhand had just in some ways been put on the national map, courtesy of course the man himself, and you saw that from, I guess, pre-Dhoni. You can almost draw a line if you talk about Jharkhand's prominence in cricket from a pre-Dhoni and an after-Dhoni era. I just wonder how that made you sort of feel, because otherwise Indian captains, Indian superstars did not hail from that state.
True. I think it was, it was a lot of belief in the state that we can actually play for the country, because in our memories, we didn't have somebody to look at who's played for the country. People like Subroto Banerjee and Ramesh Saxena, who were much older to us, had played for the country. So we had never seen somebody play for the country. So, and he was obviously the Indian team captain who just won the World Cup and stuff like that. So we obviously believed. And the other thing is, that was actually, I would say that was the golden period of Jharkhand's cricketing history. Because in one batch of the under-19s, with the batch which I was a part of, about 5 or 6 of us played for the IPL. 3 of us played for India. So it was a great batch, of really good cricketers, which was obviously on the back of a lot of good administration. We had somebody called Rajesh Verma as a secretary. Amitabh Chaudhary was president, the late Amitabh Chaudhary. But what Rajesh Verma actually did for our state with our leagues and our camps was second to none.
Yeah. What did you feel like when you played cricket in Jharkhand, you already had like a disadvantage than against oppositions in state cricket? If you could sort of highlight if there were disadvantages. That's what we tend to hear sometimes, that now things are a lot better. But did you have sort of a lot of challenges in terms of infrastructure and access?
That's the thing, right? I was really lucky to get selected for the fast bowling program in Chennai when I was 14.
So that made a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Otherwise, it's a struggle.
Yeah. Otherwise, back then, I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but the knowledge of what a cricketer needs was slightly less amongst the olden day coaches, I would say.
Okay.
But I was a part of the fast bowling setup in Chennai, and then the moment I played under 17, I was a part of ZCA, NCA. So I would literally spend only 2 months a year at home. That would only be for giving my school exams. Otherwise, I was in Chennai at the fast bowling academy. I was for about 5 months. There was at ZCA for about 2 months, NCA for a month, and then state cricket. So I was fully busy, and I had a great upbringing, strength and conditioning wise.
Because
bowling,
of the family background
yes,
and everything.
Yeah.
Sweet, that's nice. And while this was developing, your obsession with speed continued. Like can you give me examples of other than that? So you love fighter jets, and what else sort of really fascinated you as you were growing up?
I love anything fast. I love fast cars, fast bikes. I hate to walk. Like I rather run than walk, or if I walk really fast.
So MS and you have this shared passion of bikes, at least if not fast bikes.
Yeah, but my dad never let me buy a bike because he was like, you're getting injured on the field enough. You don't need a bike to get injured again. Because the thing with me is if I'm riding or I'm driving something, I can't do it slow. It has to be fast. So they knew that if I have a bike, he's going to ride fast and something might happen to him. So I was never allowed to have a bike. But I'm going to buy a bike now.
I was just going to ask you, has that milestone been breached yet? Or
yeah, now I'm not playing anymore. So they're still very suspect of me having a two-wheeler, but I'm just overhauling all my mom's and dad's instructions. I'm going to buy one.
Okay. So like obsession with speed, fast cars, fast bikes, jets and planes. I'm sure theme parks, you're always like wanted to go on the most dangerous.
I don't really like theme parks.
You don't?
No,
okay, so see,
it's too structured and adventure.
Okay,
like
so
there's no danger. You know you're not going to die in a theme park.
You say that almost like it puts you off that.
Yeah, because
it's supposed to be a selling point.
Because it's like a horror movie. Yeah. You know the movie is meant to scare you. There's no surprise in it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Now going back to the you can tell me how significant the Emerging Players Tournament was in Australia in 2011, where you had the chance to play a young David Warner. Usman Khwaja was there, and you made an impression there too. I think that's where you clocked 150 plus again.
Funnily, I actually played for Australia at the Emerging Players Tournament in 2008. For Australia. So David Warner, Usman Khwaja, Moses Henriques, Steve O'Keefe, they were all my teammates. Then 2 years later, I was playing against them. So it was quite funny. Like I was bowling against India, being in India.
How is it that you were playing
because with the fast bowling academy in Chennai, we had a tie up with the Australian Cricket Board, where they would come over to practice spin and stuff at our academy, and two of us would go and be a part of their setup and play the Emerging Players Tournament. That was a genius plan.
Yeah, so this was you and I believe Shrikant Wagh.
Yes, me and Shrikant Wagh. So we had our own apartment. I was the cook. I used to cook for him and the coach who came with us, and just play cricket for Australia.
What was that like, being like an Indian teammate of the Aussies? And
it was so much fun. Just a different culture, to be exposed to a different way of playing cricket from what we were playing back in India. Just how much attention to detail was given to something like a warm-up was really refreshing. And I really had the good fortune throughout my career to be exposed to different cultures, maybe playing for Durham or playing for Leicester, playing for the Australian team in 2008. So I think the more you're exposed to different cultures, you just start appreciating how everybody else plays cricket, but in different ways.
Any sort of memorable first interactions with a young David Warner? Was he as calm and well-behaved even back then?
No. David Warner is David Warner. He's remained the same. When David Warner was 18 and when David Warner is 36 now, I think he's going to be the same guy.
Right. Let's drum roll to your international debut.
Yeah.
And the period when you were told, how you felt at that time. Were you already in a space where like, yeah, I think I'm expecting it now. It's coming. What are the emotions like?
Again, I was really blasé of what is happening around me. I'm not
Really?
kidding. Yeah, I was just playing the game and nothing else. Finally, Mr. Kasi, I remember this day. My family had just moved my dad had taken a transfer from Jamshedpur to Pune. We were in our balcony. Mr. Kasi called me and he was like, "Varun, I have some news for you." I was like, okay, I didn't even know who Mr. Kasi was. He was the secretary. Okay, I was that naive. So then I was like, yeah, please tell me. He was like, you've been picked to represent India for the England one-day series. And I still remember my dad, mom and my sister were around me. They were so happy. They were all crying. And it was a great moment to just be picked for India.
But they were crying. You were just like, okay, so now I have to like go there tomorrow and bowl. Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously, it brought a few tears to my eyes just seeing my mom, dad, and sister all crying together, and it was a big deal because I would have never imagined I would play for the country.
And this was because I think it happened as a result of Ishant Sharma's injury.
I genuinely don't know.
So literally, this is almost a bit of a black spot or like a blank space in your memory.
Yeah.
You were literally continuing to just be. It's almost like all you were focused on was, okay, where am I supposed to be next to bowl?
100%. It is only when I had to make a comeback to the Indian team when I came back in 2014 after having 2 years off the game because of my back. That's when I started to be more aware of my surroundings. But till then, I was just very naive, just going about my job.
So this is a very important phase when you made your comeback. And of course, while you went to that one-day series, I don't think you got a game there.
No, I didn't get a game.
But do you remember any emotions at that time of even just being part of a pretty star-studded Indian team and not really getting some game time? Did you have sort of interactions with anyone? Did anyone become an instant connection or a friend?
Yeah.
And this was just after the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just after the World Cup. I think, Virat and me hit off a good relationship right from the beginning. But then in the one-day team, there were a lot of faces who I'd played against in domestic cricket, and a lot of young. It was the young lot just after the World Cup because all the senior cricketers were not part of it. There was Rahul Dravid. That was his last one-day series. There weren't too many senior cricketers. But when I came back to India, and I was part of the India West Indies tour. When I walked into that bus, that's when it really hit home that, dude, I'm playing for India. Because I walked in, Sachin Tendulkar was right there, then Virender Sehwag, VVS Lakshman, Rahul Dravid, Gautam Gambhir. And these are guys who I've been seeing since I was growing up, you know. And I was like, man, I finally made it.
So the sort of the Galacticos were in that bus against the West Indies.
Yeah.
That was quite a memorable series as well for you to have. Your Test debut was quite a memorable game. It was quite an insane game. Do you remember that, or were you completely zoned out there as well?
How can I forget that? At Wankhede, all my debuts happened in Wankhede. My under-19 debut, my Test debut, my one-day debut, and yes, Ash and me were batting, and it was a tight test. I still remember that.
I think it ended up being a drawn test, which at that time we were all confused. What happens when the scores have ended as it has? But because I never not bowled out, you were I think the penultimate batter who got out, like the second last batter.
I didn't get out. So it was Ashwin and me. We had to score 2 runs to win off the last ball, and Ash hit it down the ground, and we just ran 1.
Yeah, I'm just going to check this to make sure that you might have blacked out again over there.
No, I didn't blank out.
So you were the man not out?
Yes.
At the end?
Me and Ash, yeah.
Do you remember anything in terms of how the last, say, 15-20 minutes of that test played out?
Absolutely. Because Duncan Fletcher had not given me a single minute of batting in the nets for almost a month, okay? The first ball I go to face is Fidel Edwards slinging in a reverse swinging ball at 150 clicks. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to save this match for India? The first ball, I knew he's going to bowl in. So I just made sure I played it straight. The ball hit my bat. My bat didn't hit the ball, okay? And then those nerves got settled. I hit a good drive. I think Marlon Samuels was in extra cover. He fielded it. I think I might have scored a run there. But yeah, it was so much fun just batting in the middle on my debut.
And Ashwin at that time Ashwin's a talker and Ashwin's a thinker and Ashwin's a grandmaster and so many things. So was there a lot of instruction at a time where I'm sure there was so much already happening? Like you were already, pardon my language, but you're a little worried that you hadn't been batting.
Yeah.
So, and Fidel Edwards is bowling and then suddenly this is the state of the game. It's your debut.
Yeah.
What was Ashwin like at the other end?
Ash was cool actually. He was like, Mancha, just make sure you play straight because they're going to try and hit your pads, and that's what I was thinking as well. I just did that and we ended up not losing that test. But at the end, I told Ash that, dude, you got to run. I knew he was going to bowl straight to Ash, so he hit it down the ground. I was like, I'm going to run too. You just run hard. But Ash just took the safe option, which was the most sensible option, to not get run out and just take that 1 run.
He did end up getting run out. It was just, I guess, the intensity with
he did end up getting run out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's what
that's my memory.
Yeah. You made it. I think that was your strong suit. You were just running with pads. Anyway, incredible sort of debut. And then the tour to Australia was upon the Indian team and you missed out due to injury. And that must have been as you reflect back on it now, that must have been a really devastating sort of setback. When your career was
It was really devastating because I had a really good one-day debut. I got 3 wickets against England in great fashion, and then in one spell I got those 3 wickets in my debut test, and I was just feeling so good about myself. I still remember, like you literally feel that. I mean, as a fast bowler, you want to be in a space where you turn up to a game and you just know what your body is going to give you. You just know how your bowling is going to be. And I was in that space. It's a very beautiful space to be in, you know. And that was obviously cut short because I fractured my back. That was actually my 4th stress fracture. And it turned out to be the most tricky stress fracture amongst all. I ended up having 8, but that 4th one was really, really tricky.
We still hear the term so often when it comes to major fast bowlers. Can you just tell us, in sort of for the novice like me, for the lay fans, what does a stress fracture do to a bowler when he undergoes it, or to an individual, and when he's how does that change activity at home?
More than home, a stress fracture is not like a conventional fracture where you see a huge, say you break your hand, there's a huge
this is where the bone is cracked.
Yeah, like there's swelling, there's a big crack and you have to put a rod and a plate and stuff like that. But a stress fracture is basically what the name says. It's because of continuous stress over just one part of the bone, and finally you have a very, very small crack on that bone. Especially when you have a stress fracture in your back, you can have a lot of neural symptoms. So like you can get numbness down your leg. You like literally you can't feel your leg at times because your spinal cord's right there, right? There's so many nerves.
This happened to you, like you were experiencing
multiple
this?
times.
Yeah.
And it's just, then you can't extend yourself. There's a lot of pain. And the moment you do anything which is stressful, you just feel like a sharp shooting pain. So you obviously can't bowl fast when you're in that shape.
Sure.
And yeah, I was unfortunate to have stress fractures quite a lot.
This must be like so much, like even more frustrating for someone of your, I'm guessing it's frustrating for anyone with a stress fracture, but even more so you, when there were things that were so important to your daily routine.
Yeah.
And it's not like you did a lot of 100 other things. It's not like you didn't mind the time off where you could catch up on, binge eat, or you could watch movies.
Absolutely,
So this, how do you sense that affected you mentally? Did you feel at any point that maybe I won't play again?
No, I always had the belief, like even the 2.5 years when I was not playing, the only thing which kept me going was the belief in myself that I will play for India again, because I not for 1 minute doubted that I would make a comeback. I never ever doubted. I would go to bed every day thinking of the day I play for India. That was the kind of conviction I had. And I actually moved from Jamshedpur to Bangalore because I was at the NCA for the most of the year because of the rehab schedule I had. But I never doubted myself. I always knew I'd play for India, and I always knew that I'll bowl fast and I'll still bowl at 150 clicks.
That was going to be my next question on whether at any point you started feeling like, oh, maybe my body is, maybe it's better to just start bowling differently. Maybe I don't need to bowl fast.
Man, I live to bowl fast. I would have never cut down on my pace. That is just. I mean, you would be a loser if you would do that.
I'm going to go through some of the highlights of your international career with some images, and let me see what memories it perhaps brings back. Do you recall this charming young man over here? Do you remember the moment?
Yeah, that was my first wicket. It was Scotty Borthwick, got him bowled. Had a nice reverse swinging ball. I was bowling media end of the Wankhede stadium. And that's Suresh Raina obviously congratulating me on the first wicket.
Suresh Raina had a very animated celebration often, no? Did he ever sort of jump? Did you have to suddenly carry Raina?
He did it multiple times. This is the first frame of the photo. But before that, he was on my back.
Yeah, but do you think that led to the stress fracture at any point?
No. I wish it was that simple. Just somebody jumping on me.
Yeah, I wonder if sometimes you have to be mindful of certain things. Hey, listen, guys. None of that. Okay. Let's go to a more iconic one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've lived through this moment a few times and spoken of it.
Yeah.
So we're talking 2014 now. This was an important part of your career. Your comeback had just happened.
That was my comeback test.
Yeah. So let's talk about the comeback first, then I'll go to the story.
Yeah.
When you almost feel like, finally all the green flags had come. Yeah. You're ready to resume. Must have made you feel like like a new man almost.
I was unbelievable. I actually worked really hard with Subroto Banerjee.
Yeah.
In that period to work on my action. I actually, to be honest, before I started working with Subroto Banerjee, I knew I had to make a change to my action to play cricket again. But to be really honest, nobody in cricket, like in the fast bowling coaches in India or the world, had a solution to what I needed. So we all know there's front on, semi-open, side on, and there's pass side on as well.
Unable to get through to you there.
No.
Like they weren't able to communicate.
No, they weren't able to give me a solution to how to change my action.
You had data and analysis, but you didn't have.
No, because for example, if somebody, so you've heard of pass side on, right? You remember Roger Binney? His back leg used to face mid on when he used to bowl. So I had a passed front on back foot landing. So basically my back foot would point towards first slip, and that is very, very detrimental to your balance as a fast bowler, because if you can't even stand with your leg face inward like this, your back leg inward. So it was because of that I was getting my stress fractures, but then obviously nobody could give me a solution as to how I could correct that.
But Subroto Banerjee helped.
No, I actually helped myself.
Oh, okay.
So one afternoon I was so frustrated, I went to the NCA indoors, got a friend of mine to just take a video. I told him to just take a video of every ball. And all I told myself was that just do what comes naturally to you. Because when I was 14, before any coach could touch me, that was how I used to bowl with a semi-open back foot, you know. But obviously through coaching and stuff like that, my action got changed and I got into this habit, which was not great at all. So I just let my body flow and do what it knew inherently. And suddenly I started to feel really comfortable. And I asked my friend, I was like, can you just show me the last video? And magically, my back foot had become semi-open and then I saw the video, that's because I actually subconsciously delayed my load, like made my load a little longer. So it gave me time to open up my back foot. And that enabled me to come back and play for India. And then obviously I fine-tuned it with Subrata Banerjee, an unbelievable coach. He just makes everything so easy.
I think you've told me this about how he gave you simple remedies to keep in mind so that your action doesn't fall away or you don't sort of lose your action.
With him, it was more fine-tuning my skill. So the action bit I had sorted out of myself.
I'm a little surprised to hear that. I don't know if that shocks you or surprises you right now that with all by then there was pretty decent establishment set up for an India fast bowler ready, and you would think that you would have a lot of help to work on your action. And sometimes a coach can tweak an action which could potentially change a career, either positively or negatively. And you just had to fix this yourself?
I had to fix it myself. It was just one of those things because nobody was able to help me. I mean, I pretty much went to every single coach in the world and India, but nobody could give me an answer, and it's fine. So sometimes you just got to find your own answers, and that I feel my journey, and especially just me trying to fix myself and come back, has really contributed to me understanding fast bowling to a level which I never thought I would.
Okay, all right. So you've rectified the aspects of your action needed to. Call up comes again.
Yeah.
And let's talk about England now. And sort of how that made you feel when you were going to England.
Again, till then, Ronak, I'm seriously telling you, I never knew I was going to get picked for India. I was still very blasé. I got picked. I was very happy. Then I landed in England. First 3 tests I didn't play. I was getting a bit edgy. I was like, when are they going to play me? When are they going to play me? It was also a tough
series.
I was like, come on, guys, just please give me a game. Finally, I got a game. It was a really great 3 wickets, which I got in that first innings at Old Trafford. I still remember Moeen Ali, Gary Balance, and Alistair Cook. And I felt really good, like just finally everything was coming together.
Yeah, and you must have enjoyed England in general. You already had a little taste of England before that.
Yeah, the weather, the food, everything.
Okay, the Broad incident, high profile incident, there seems to be, it's one of the it's part of cricket folklore, and it can literally be folklore because people debate whether it's accurate or not.
Correct.
That Broad, the batter, changed before and after this very moment. So, I mean, do you remember if you felt any empathy at all at that time, or you didn't give a...
No, I didn't really care on field, to be very honest, because that was just part of the job, scaring a batsman and trying to get him out after that. I did feel bad that he got hit and there was so much blood on the pitch. But the first thing I did when I went back to the dressing room was take my spikes off, and I straight went down to the English dressing room. Stuart Broad was laying down with a ice pack on his face. I asked him if he's okay, and I apologized. I was like, man, you know what? I didn't mean to do that. He said, yeah, I completely understand. And a couple of my teammates were like, why did you check on him? Why did you say sorry to him? I was like, guys,
who were these humanitarians? Would you like to name them?
I'm not going to take names, but I was like, he's just another human, and he's just one of us who's playing the game. Yes, on the field, I was doing a job, but off the field, I was really concerned about how he was.
You, of course, ended up, I don't know if you attribute that test or that moment as a reason for your subsequent county call-up?
Yeah. So after that test, we played at the Oval, and then I came back home, and I was obsessed with my body at that point. Because I was told that you can't bowl more than these overs, and I was bowling a lot in England in the nets at practice, and in the final 2 games we had to bowl a lot. So I just wanted to rest and make sure that finally I played for India. I want to continue playing for India. I don't want to like stress out and get another injury, you know. Then Ravi Shastri called me up one day and he was like, Varun, I wanted to play for Durham. I was like, in my head, I was just thinking of just doing some rehab, getting my back in proper shape. But then I went and played for Durham. That was a great experience. Just playing for an English county team. Young Ben Stokes was my teammate there.
Was a tough finish to the series anyway. After I'm going to take some more images out over here now, and if you can remember this.
Oh yeah, this is my good friend Murli Vijay dropping Alistair Cook. Because we still talk about this. So I was in the middle of a really good spell. And funnily, every time I played against Alistair Cook, I got him out. Okay. So this was, again, I thought, okay, I'm going to get Cook out. I was bowling around the wicket. He went for a drive, went straight to Monk, and Monk drops it. And he's a good friend of mine, so I can't even get angry. So I was like, bro, can you just catch the next one which will come to you? He's like, yeah, I will. Next over, go over the wicket. He plays a drive, goes to Monk, and he catches it.
It was really good height, right?
Yeah. But he takes the catch after that. So I was like, okay, good job done.
Right. That was the end of the England series, and then comes Australia soon after. That was a big year for India. Obviously, you had 4 tests in England and you had 4 tests in Australia that followed. That's where your old friend and former teammate David Warner. There was quite a bit of incident there too. Can just recall that moment for us. You remember him? You remember dismissing him of a no ball?
Oh yeah, I do remember this. This just started off a massive storm amongst both teams because I obviously bowled a small no ball. Small no ball. He came back and he was mouthing everybody off on the way. Shikhar and Rohit got into a fight. I was livid with myself because I was just consumed in being so angry with myself that it was a no ball because it was at a point in that test that if he was actually out, we could have won that test, because that test was lost by not the biggest of margins.
It was an incredible test match again.
Exactly. So I was just very angry with myself. I didn't even want to engage with him because I was just like, how could I have bowled that no ball? But again, it was just one of those things. But yeah, heated moment.
Your celebration was quite emotional, right? We described it as wild.
Yeah.
Like Aaron celebrates wildly. Yeah. And then the no ball call came, so Warner comes back.
Yeah.
You already knew this guy. So I mean, I don't know, was that just in the moment or was that specifically for a David Warner?
It was in the moment because the test match was getting quite heated up, because it was a young Indian team in Australia. We wanted to prove a point, and David Warner was one of those characters who could run away with the game. And I obviously wanted to get him out because I'm a fast bowler bowling against the opening batsman. You want that contest. You want to get him out. So I got him out, and we were all really charged up. Virat Kohli is obviously his first test as captain, I think, in Australia. So everybody was charged up, and it was just one of those things.
Yeah, that series was really significant for cricket in a lot of ways. I think the shift in captaincy in 2014.
Yeah.
And before that, even, I mean, I'm just going to go back here because I remember I just started working with Cricinfo at the time, and Philip Hughes's passing was like a seminal sort of moment.
Yeah.
It got all of us, and I can only imagine that's the first time a lot of us felt like, oh, someone can actually die.
Yeah.
I know there were isolated incidents in the past, but this was high profile. Yeah. This was something that we could see on video. Yeah. And as somebody who grew up on you know where I'm going with this, the attitude of just, that's what I want to do. It was till then, it was a cool thing. Yeah. But suddenly you could see like some really severe repercussions this might have.
Yeah.
Did it all do you have any recollection of how perhaps that incident affected you, if at all? Like what you took from that?
I more than anything, it's still very fresh in my head. The whole atmosphere around that first test coming to Australia, the mood was very somber. Yeah. And there was, I remember Phil Hughes' number written down on one part of the ground. I think that really, that incident galvanized the Australian team to a large extent. Because he was one of the liked members of the Australian team, and it was a big loss for them, big loss for world cricket in general. But yeah, you just don't want anybody to die on a cricket field ever.
It never sort of made you feel like second guess your craft though.
No,
that never happened.
No.
Yeah, all right. That's nice, I guess, because the game could obviously learn from it and evolve from it. And then the way that series went down, as it turns out, MS suddenly decides that he's done.
Yeah.
Do you remember sort of just the...
Yeah, I was actually, the day the Gabba test got over, my granddad passed away. So I flew back to India straight away because I was very, very close to my granddad. And I had to miss the Melbourne test because of that reason. So that was a big loss for me, big loss for the family. So I flew straight down after the Gabba test, and I wasn't there when he called his retirement. Those 2 days.
But there was no indication that was coming?
No indication at all. I think what I heard was Suresh Raina got really emotional and a few others, because even he had not even spoken to them. That was a surprise for them.
Absolutely no chit chat, even amongst the dressing room, that okay, if this doesn't go well,
No, nothing. He didn't even speak to Raina, who's obviously CSK teammate, close friend of his.
Okay. That's just how he rolls, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How would you describe your equation with him, though? From hailing from the same state, your captain when you internationally debuted.
Yeah.
How would you describe your overall and your common affection for speed and bikes?
I mean, obviously we didn't have a relationship or didn't even know each other in person. We had never met each other till I played for India. Though we were from the same state. Because he wasn't playing much Ranji Trophy cricket, because obviously he was consumed playing for India. And I myself had just played 2 seasons of Ranji Trophy cricket. And when he debuted for India, I was playing under 15s. So we had never really crossed paths. The first time I met him was when I got selected for the Indian, the one-day team. So yeah, we have a great relationship, but not one which
not necessarily an intimate one.
Not an intimate one, I would say. But
any other team.
But obviously, I have massive respect and admiration for what he's done.
All right, let's go to what, if I don't know if you can call it that, but was this the best ball you've bowled in Test match cricket?
Yeah, considering, I mean, the Moeen Ali ball I really enjoyed, but considering the conditions, I would say this ball was the best ball I bowled in Test match cricket. Yes, and that was my last Test match wicket as well.
Yeah, Hashim Amla's wicket. Yeah. This is Bangalore, 2015 was it? Yeah, 2015.
Yeah,
and of course some pitches also changed. Around that time, they didn't need too many fast bowlers after that.
Not at all.
But a big part of your career was also, I guess, affected there after. I'm sure you felt like you were in a good space with your bowling, and I think you were quite disappointed to not be selected for the 2015 ODI World Cup at the back of the series in Australia.
Again, Ronak, it was just so the last one-day series before the World Cup was before we left for Australia was versus Sri Lanka. And I still vividly remember that game. We were playing Sri Lanka at the Barabati Stadium, and I was averaging 148, 147. I was bowling really fast, and I was in really good shape. And in this, I still remember, I think one of the lefties defended a ball. It took the shoulder of the bat, went for a one bounce 4 over Suresh Raina's head. Okay, and I was in great shape. All of a sudden, in the 3rd over, I popped my quad. So I have a grade 2 tear of my quad, and I miss out on that series. So that was an important series to get picked for the World Cup, and I missed it because of injury. So just stuff like that. So I knew that if I was not playing one-day cricket and I missed that series, I was not going to get picked.
How did you? I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly if you don't mind. But how did you find your entire IPL experience though?
So I had a few really good years with Delhi Daredevils and RCB, a good year with Punjab as well. My first year with Rajasthan Royals, I just played about 4 games. I got a man of the match. It was good. But then after that, towards the end, it was just riddled with injury. And with injury and sickness. So I got dengue in the middle of one IPL. In fact, 2 IPLs I got dengue. I had to miss about 7-8 games, and my right quad just wasn't holding up. After that tear, which I just spoke about, my right quad would just pop in the middle of IPLs. So my last 3 IPLs, in the middle of the IPL, I was tearing my right quad, and I just could not fix it. I just didn't have an answer to my right quad.
This didn't weigh on you emotionally? You never took your injuries very sort of personally or emotionally in that sense? Would you say you were able to kind of overcome them without losing much of yourself?
A lot of people have asked me this, and especially my family wonders how I've dealt with my entire journey. Because I've never really expressed too much and stuff like that. But to be really honest, it was just part of the mission. and that's how it was in my head. That's how it played out in my head, that you're doing this, stuff's going to happen to you, just move on with it. To be very honest, I don't think I've properly processed it even till now.
Okay, fair enough. But I guess in some ways, now that I kind of I understand you a little bit better, you consider, I think you are a student of the game, and you are dedicated and committed to whatever it is that I guess at that point is stimulating you. And even through injuries at a large part of your IPL career, you had interactions with a number of different styles of coaching and coaches, and I can see that you take a lot from experiences of other people. You've already mentioned that right from your early years. So, here you are getting to know work with an Eric Simons, an Alan Donald, Stefan Jones. Did that in some way open up sort of more avenues of just learning? Did that in any way, if I can say now, inspire any kind of nugget of, coaching is also something that you could see yourself going into?
Yeah, for sure. I think what I learned from my own experiences were massive. Yes, being coached by Dennis Lillee and Anil Donald, Varun Aaron, Stefan Jones, they're all very Eric Simons, very different styles of coaches, which you can pick up a lot from. But I think what you experience really shapes you and molds you as an individual, and shapes your brain more than anything else. Because a lot of the legends of fast bowling, who've just done it so naturally and never really had a tumultuous journey in their careers, just feel that it's really easy. They don't really understand what somebody who goes through injury after injury or
action alteration.
Alteration really goes through. Because for them, it's such an easy movement. All they have to do is just change their wrist like this to bowl outswing, this for inswing, and then just do it, But for somebody like me, it was at some points it was really torturous, because I had so much information in my head and I had to break it all down and do something really simple. So I would wish that I was a lot stupider and just did what I had to do without knowing too much about the craft. But I had to learn about it. I had to dig really deep into the knowledge of sport and fast bowling to even have a career past 25.
You're now going to be an IPL coach.
Yeah.
And it's going to be your first coaching assignment with a franchise, at least. You have done some work at the Pace Foundation. I would just wonder how excited you are for it and what kind of coach you think you'll be.
I'm really excited because it's a challenge. Coaching at the Uppal Stadium is going to be a challenge, because that's one of the highest scoring grounds in the IPL. I think the average score is about 213. The average first inning score. So to get our bowlers to make sure they're on the top of their games, to make sure we have the strategy, have the correct bowlers, have our bowlers bowling in a certain way, is going to be so much fun. It's going to be creative, because if you were playing on a track which suited bowlers, the creativity is less. I mean, the bowlers would just do their job. But I think what I'm trying to do is focus as a coach more on the off season rather than in season, because you can't really contribute too much in season.
Sure.
You obviously all you have to do is make sure everybody's in a great frame of mind when they're playing games. You don't want to really tinker with anybody's technique or really put any information in their head which is going to make them think. You just want them to be in a zone. You want them to be in a state of flow. But where you can actually do the work is in the off season.
I guess this is a question perhaps for a little while down the line, but you've dabbed a little bit into media, you've done commentary, you're going to be doing some coaching now. What do you see yourself more passionate about? What do you see your life being more about in the game going forward? Or is it a bit of both?
I think it's always going to be both, purely because I think my inherent want to help another human being comes out with coaching, and I think that's the main tenet of coaching, I feel, because instead of just looking for personal glory, I think what a coach should look at and should want to do is help the individual in front of them. So that obviously gets satiated through coaching, just helping another individual and seeing them do well. But then through broadcasting, I get to put out my views on the game. And obviously I work with such amazing people, not because you're sitting here, just everybody at Cricinfo, at Star and Geo. We've got such a great team where I get so many insights. Like just working with the Hawk guys is so much fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm like a kid in a candy shop when we have Hawk for a series. It's just so much fun. You just get to get all these ideas and get it on paper, through Hawk. So it's a lot of fun. I really have a lot of fun broadcasting and obviously helping people.
Yeah, it's safe to say that you're very proud to be a bit of a cricket geek or a cricket nerd. You can talk about the game throughout. It doesn't sort of bore you to get really into the technique side or even the data side of things. You quite enjoy that, right?
I don't know what I am, but I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing.
Okay,
To be really
fine.
honest.
We're not going to put a label on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the question I normally ask a lot of players as well there is that when they sit back now and they look at how their career's gone or how cricket's been in their life, any regrets?
No regrets at all. I honestly, in life, I don't have any regrets. I've touched wood, thank God, I have gone to sleep every day of my life feeling that I've given my best. Yes, we all make mistakes as human beings. That's the nature of our existence. But I have no regrets. I know I've put out everything I had on the field every day I took the field.
Okay. And I can just tell you that it's been so much fun talking to you in the last, say, year or two since we've started working together, and I'm sure we're going to do a lot more of that. I can just point out some of my highlights, though have been not the stuff you've already seen of Varun Aaron and not the insight he gives you, which you've been familiar with. But there are times where Varun, when he just had sort of come in, I mean, I can say this on this platform, we can bleep it later if need be, but you could just go like, yeah, that's like shit. Or if someone else, there's a former cricketer or a fellow pundit who mispronounced Rishabh Pant. And Varun like a little pause. Did you know what he just said? So there's a childlike, genuine kind of enthusiasm to you. And I think that's so endearing. I've been thoroughly fortunate and enjoyed every moment of me working with you so far, and I hope that carries on.
I think us working together in the England series was just so much fun.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It's just like great cricket, great chats, and it was like,
I think it's
so much fun.
Very refreshing. Let's hope that happens for a long time to come.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the conversation was so riveting, you haven't doodled anything in the last
absolutely
1 hour, 20 minutes, but this was so much fun, Varun. Thank you so much for being with us and talking cricket.
100%. Thank you so much.
Well, that was so much fun. Someone who was obsessed with speed and everything fast, and we got some great insight into the story and the man that Varun Aaron is.